If you've ever wondered how you can start tapping into what your body is trying to say, you're not the only one. I receive this question all the time. And just the other day from a follower on Instagram, I just figured I might as well make a video to address this question. So, as someone who has really devoted the last 4 years plus of my life to listening to my body every single day, there's a lot that I wish to share with you. And I do have a number of courses in which I can go into real depth with you on that. But outside of the courses, I would love to share with you some practical tips and insights on how you can go about starting this process. So for me, learning to listen to my body has resulted in widespread shifts across every area of my life. So not only have I healed chronic pain and hundreds at this point of physical based symptoms within myself and helping my clients do the same, but I've also gotten into many different emotional layers, done a lot of healing around my childhood trauma, my core wounds, my relational patterning, including people pleasing, perfectionism, codependency, low self worth. I've also been able to identify a lot of my limiting beliefs that were contributing to these different expressions physically, emotionally, and spiritually as well, and reframe them from within, and also to reach a really clear level of inner guidance to help align me towards my authenticity, my path, and my purpose. If you're looking for this type of result as well, definitely keep watching. And just know that I'm speaking based on my personal experience and it may or may not resonate with you. So, firstly, I just want to address some key understandings. So, the first thing being that listening to your body, when done well, as a learned, practiced skill over time, you can achieve clarity, relief, connection, guidance on virtually any area of your life that you're needing support with. So, as I said before, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because all of these layers are connected together, there are many different access points and many different applications for the skill of learning to listen to your body. And we'll talk about later how you can start to develop this skill more. I think is like a very fundamental skill that we should all know how to do, because it can be the remedy for so much pain, literal physical pain, and all different kinds of pain and suffering in our lives. When we just have like that guiding light coming from within ourselves to bring us comfort and to let us know how we really feel about the things that matter to us. And also to help us show up as a version of ourselves that is most authentic to us. So when you learn to listen to your body in an effective way, the world is your oyster. You can really create any result that you desire. I don't believe that anything is impossible. I've seen some pretty crazy things in my short time as a self-healing mentor and somatic guide. So really don't hold yourself back. It's okay to think big with the types of results that you want, and also pairing that with the everyday action of showing up to develop this skill and practice. So that leads into the second point, which is that listening to your body is a learnable skill. And I think that it's really easy to forget that because so many of us have grown up in a world where we feel disconnected from ourselves, our bodies, and that the systems around us like really encourage that. And the good news is though that our bodies are wired to be all-knowing, self-regulating. Our bodies already know how to return to an internal state of balance. And that's not just physically, it's also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When we're out of balance, our body does speak to us and let us know precisely in what ways we are out of balance, what areas of our life, what situations, our true authentic thoughts, feelings, dreams, desires. And I think this is the second point that I really want to emphasize, is that your body is communicating to you about your authentic truth. I think a lot of people misinterpret what the body's actually trying to say. At least for me, what's been always true, and I know it's been true because of the real life effects of physical relief, as well as emotional, mental, and spiritual transformation that has resulted directly from this practice, is that we are listening for our true needs that have gone unmet in the past. We're listening for our feelings that have been unintegrated and unexpressed. We're listening for our thoughts and our thought patterns that are driving our external behaviors that may not be aligned with how we want to show up. And we're also listening for what our soul wants for us, what we're meant to move towards in our lives. Yes, on the surface, we are just listening to the language of sensation. And when you go deeper, all parts of you that have ever existed and will ever exist have a home inside of your body, not a literal place in which they reside necessarily, but when they have something to speak, when they have something to say to you that wants to be heard, they will speak through different parts of your body. I'm not a fan of symptom maps and symptom charts. I think that they are helpful in the beginning, but they can also be very limiting and misleading. So I don't encourage the use of symptom charts unless you're a complete beginner and need somewhere to start. If you really want to take your power back and be able to tune into any sensation, any pain or discomfort in your body, not only be able to provide real relief for yourself, but also be able to identify clearly exactly why you're feeling that way, what's contributing to that pain, be able to provide that for yourself, release it, and have that all happen in the span of like 20 minutes or less, then we have to let go of the symptom charts and any real external authority for that matter. Yes, there's a place and time for the experts, but we're not talking about those crisis situations, okay? Just to be clear. We're talking about all of like the 99% of other instances where you feel something within you and you just want to understand what that is and how to help yourself. And now that you know that listening to your body also is for the purpose of uncovering your authentic truth and aligning to that, then we can get now into what can you do to start really tapping into that. So again, this is another question where I could have 1,000 different answers to. This one really depends on your starting point. And then I just really want to emphasize again that listening to your body is a learnable skill. It is something that our bodies were designed to know how to do. And for whatever reason, through life, through society, we got disconnected from that power. But ultimately, we still hold the blueprint to be able to come back into centeredness, balance. And for those of us who have lived in a disconnected way for a really long time, it can be really helpful to know that listening to your body as it relates to connecting back to your authentic self can be broken down into 4 major inner listening strategies. And those are somatic, attuned, regulatory, and intuitive. I've created an entire YouTube playlist called How to Actually Listen to Your Body. I'm going to link that in the description box below so that you can go through that and have a more in-depth understanding about what each of these skills are, because it really helps to have the clarity and understanding of like, what are you really listening to and for, so that you can get started on the right foot. But before you go to that playlist, even though listening to your body is a learnable skill, all skills take time and practice to be able to master. And I think what often happens with self-healers is that when we try to listen to our bodies, we draw blanks and therefore we get frustrated. We don't get the results that we want. We start to doubt ourselves. We go in circles and we just kind of ultimately settle for the reality that, oh, self-healing is just this slow, unpredictable process where I only get pieces of the puzzle and it's just part of the process of healing. It's just picking up the pieces really slowly and maybe never even fully getting there. But I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's what self-healing is. That's not been my experience. Once I learned that listening to your body results in real tangible results when you do it right, that was my feedback system for helping me understand, am I on track? Are my messages clear enough? And also, because it was a learnable skill, I could keep refining, keep practicing, and get deeper and deeper. The more that you listen, the more layers of understanding are going to come through, and you will be amazed by how much you learn about yourself and how deeply connected you feel to yourself and your truth the more that you do it. I was able to really refine my practice by really committing to doing it every single day and using what I could see and feel in my body, in my outer life as feedback about whether I was listening effectively or not. So that's another tip. And lastly, I wanted to just speak to those of you who are on a spiritual path. I am also a deeply spiritual person, and it wouldn't be right for me to talk about listening to my body without including that major aspect because actually, when I uncovered how to listen to my body effectively, the first messages that I got when I was dealing with my chronic pain were the ones that were speaking specifically to my life path and purpose. The spectrum of like messages can vary greatly from just like tiny little things day to day to literally, this is the impact that you're here to make on the world. And so let's get to it. Because my guess is that you're trying to listen to your body because there is something physical that's been bothering you for some time now and maybe is more chronic. And what I found is that with chronic pain in particular, that is a physical manifestation of all of the emotional, mental, and spiritual limitations that we place on ourselves, manifesting as physical. And the exact ways in which the chronic pain appears, the way that the part of the body and just like many different details of that pain are exactly mirroring your internal experiences. And as you start to tune into that, hold it, give it space to communicate with you, the messages come through, and that energy in the area that's bound up as the chronic symptom will start to move. And as that starts to move internally, physically, you'll start to experience a shift in emotions, in your mental state, and then energetically as well. You're going to see a lot of shifts in your external life as the message becomes clearer and clearer, and then you're able to take action on what that message really is. Like ultimately, that is the goal, to get a message so clear that you know the exact steps that you need to take based on your body's wisdom, not guessing about, oh, I'm supposed to do this and then I'm supposed to do this and maybe like that would lead to this. No, your body actually tells you like this is what you need to do. There's no guessing involved when you're listening to your body in an effective way. If you are dealing with chronic pain and the spiritual approach resonates with you, I walk women through that in my 12-week intuitive pain healing program. And we are opening up enrollments again soon for that, which I will link in the description box below just so you can take a look at the program to answer the question, how can you start tapping into what your body's trying to say? I think the very first step is actually getting clear on what it is that you're even involving yourself in, realizing that the messages may not actually be what you think they are, that they can be a lot more specific, a lot more tangible, and that you have a way, a feedback mechanism for if you're getting it quote unquote right by the way that you feel, by the relief that you feel, by the shifts that you are noticing in your life. Those can all serve to help you figure out whether you're on the right track. The connections can go so deep, and that there are many layers that come through, that it's a continuous process to pour your time and love and presence into. And the more you get put in, the more you get out. So I hope that's helpful for you. Let me know in the comments what you learned and also what other questions that you might have on the topic. I love talking about this. Could talk about it every day, all the time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.